You know what time it is, celebrating 39 years of pure magic, and the doorbell is already ringing as we look at the door to see who will be coming through the door to celebrate Jack Roper. And there he is.
Is it a bill collector again? Hey, Pete.
There he is. Peter V. Yannity.
Well, there you go.
It is so nice to be here.
Hey, buddy.
I got to tell you.
Thank you for coming.
So this is by happenstance. I'm walking by on the street.
Yes.
I see this amazing glow coming from this building. I was curious.
It's
I
our
piqued
skin.
my
There's
interest.
a radioactivity going on.
No, actually, the sun was hitting at a certain angle on Jack's beautiful head of hair, and it just.
And
I
then
thought it was my
said, hey.
bifocals.
Well, it could have been that too.
Right.
Hey
How
guys.
you, Pete? You getting a little gray-headed, buddy?
Well, yeah, that's true. Obviously, I'm not using any coloring. I'm just trying to hang on to what I have.
All natural, huh?
Tell me, you came from Florence.
I came on October 29th, 1990. It was the first day.
Well, then I got here 4 years before you.
Yes, you did.
Well, good memories. Of course, now, here's my impression of Pete Yannity.
All right.
All the play-by-play. You ready? He's up, swish, 2 points. That's your
Very deep.
play-by-play.
Very
Bravo.
deep.
Well,
Bravo.
So our offices were right next to each other back in the day. They had you in a little cubby hole, right? I had a really nice office. I've had great offices.
All I ever
time I've
had
been
was a
here.
cubby.
So you were kind of like in a pathway. I'd walk by you all the time.
Yeah.
Because you were across the hall. But I remember because of the kids shows and all the magic, there were always like these props. You might see, a dummy here or, that kind of thing.
Well, there you are. Look at you in that dark hair.
Look at you guys.
Look at that
you
back
go.
in the day.
That's Pamela.
Which of us
Pam.
has aged more?
Is that Pam
You got
over there?
Tom and your Pam and us. Yeah, that was in our. That was the original news set that we had. The original one for me.
Let's see
and
now.
That was in a different studio than we are
That's
now.
Alan Denton, right?
That's Alan Denton, actually. Yep. And I think
That's
I saw
Pam
Tom in
again.
the other one.
Look at that.
no.
Who's that
Wow,
guy?
look at that.
Wow.
I was still trying to shed the baby fat
Wowza.
back then.
Danny
and,
Ford coverage.
Well, that was our Beat Danny board. You had a guest in here, Bill Love, within the
Yeah,
last
Bill
week.
was here.
And
a week or
Bill
two
and
ago.
his partner on the radio, Howard Hudson, did a really funny thing that I was honored to carry the torch on. But yeah, that was back in the day, my friend, and
I couldn't imagine your offices being that close together. The chaos, the mayhem that must have ensued.
It was usually inspired by me because I was a little bit younger than I am now and just slightly less mature. So I took my shots at him.
Well, I've said this off camera to many people. So many of the on-air staff, we get away with revealing our personality. You can like us or not, and yours comes through, but not as much as having a talk show.
No, absolutely.
We see some of Christie's.
Yep.
We see some of your wit, but you're a funny guy. Dan is funny, but Dan doesn't come across as much. Amy, of course, is just over the top.
Not over the
but
top.
it's amazing. The viewers just don't know the total person, and your wit is just so keen.
Well, that's why I try to do the play-by-play thing. It's really a vehicle for my wit.
I know.
Funny, quaint story from the background that kind of involves you. So on my first day in the office, was the day, it was a Monday, again, late October of 1990, and on that day, a woman who was working at a TV station in Minnesota came. She was a reporter. She came to interview for a reporter's job at Channel 7.
Yeah.
Her name, Amy, different maiden name at the time.
Amy Marsh.
Our Amy. So,
Look at
and
that.
then Amy and I found out that we'd grown up roughly 15, 20 minutes from each other on either side of the state line up in the Northeast.
I didn't know that.
She had relatives in my hometown, so like on holidays,
Small
she
world.
spent time in my hometown.
The things you don't get, but on this show from the folks that come
it's
here.
the
Where is that?
backstory info.
That's just
The one thing I love about Pete is that he can remember one thing about the hometown that you're from. Everybody he meets probably knows like one thing about the hometown.
Yeah.
Which I think is really,
And
really awesome.
I've got a story about the saxophone we just saw. So every so often, my friend here would say, "Hey, you live over there near this guy. I've got a saxophone there. You had a sax, and did you play another instrument the guy worked on?"
I play a lot of things.
Yeah, but anyway, so the guy who, I guess, tuned your instruments or fixed or whatever.
Yeah.
So every so often I was given the assignment, hey, on your way back over, can you stop by this guy? Small world. Later on, my daughter, she plays the clarinet.
Yeah.
Same guy who tuned your, we show up at the guy's house. I said, honey, I've been here
She did play
before.
clarinet.
And I was going into my past to when I would
Fair
go and pick up his instrument for him.
Well, but let me tell you what Pete always tells me. He says, Jack says, people that want to be in showbiz. I've said it so clever and there's a lot of truth to it. Says, people that want to be in showbiz that don't really have any talent won't become magicians. And I tell that story.
Yeah, exactly. I said,
But don't tell Johnny Carson that and a few other people.
Yeah.
But it's It's funny.
But I
Thank
used to say to him, just to kind of needle him, because that's what we do. I said, yeah, if you're a magician, it's because you want to be in show business. Didn't have any talent, so by gosh, you learned.
Yeah, I love the line, and I think it's funny.
I think I said it obviously in jest, but early on I said that, and he'd remind me of it, I'd remind him of it. But I'll tell you a really funny part. So back in the day, before we had automated cameras, which I guess are nothing more than robots with a lens on them, we used to have folks on the floor.
Yeah.
And of course, Jack did the kids show for many years, and 2 stories about that. The first one is, every so often, some of those who were extras on the show would also get jobs as our floor camera people, and one of the guys was a clown.
Yeah.
And we would often, and sometimes he had just done a gig and was maybe coming to also shoot something with Jack. We'd actually have him in full clown gear behind the camera in our studio.
Well, past management, way back, they were former clowns.
Well,
they got into management.
And that is
way
the
back.
views expressed by Jack
back.
Roper are not necessarily.
Exactly.
Anyway.
You're retiring. I don't want to retire.
But one more quick story. Our daughter was born in May of '97, and she was born on a Thursday, and so were they, let's just stay in the hospital a couple of days till they throw you out and say, here, off you go. But anyway, I never forget waking up on that Saturday morning. She's less than 48 hours old. And, I maybe slept an hour that night. We got the newborn, and I've got her at that point trying to let the wife right next to us in the bed get some sleep. And on comes Kid Sizzle, the show. And I said, look, honey, there's Jack. I work with him. little 2-day-old baby.
Yeah, and they're grown now.
You were one of her first TV experiences.
Look at that.
There you go.
Just remember, what rhymes with yanity is insanity.
There you
Just
go.
Remember that.
Some say vanity. Some will say vanity, which, fits my ego.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you so much for being
This
here. We
was fun.
appreciate
I'm
it.
so glad
Thank you,
I heard
buddy.
it.